Welcome back to the RSR Nürburg YouTube channel, and thanks for joining us this time alongside this beautiful sunset orange BMW M2. Now, back in late 2015, when BMW announced the release of an all-new model, the BMW M2, we raced down to our local dealership to see if we could get our hands on some. Fast forward a few years to earlier in 2019, we added 4 more BMW M2 competition packages to the fleet, which again, you guys simply can't stop driving. So let's go and see what the fuss is all about. Driving this car, and you can immediately feel the biggest change has been made to its engine. And that makes sense, since it's an all-new engine for this platform, but one that we're already familiar with as it's borrowed from its bigger brothers, the M3 and M4 platform. This one revs higher and has more power than the engine it replaces, and to be brutally honest with you, we feel BMW should have produced it with this engine from the very beginning. Now that we know how good the M2 competition package is, it got us thinking what we do with our non-competition package M2s. And it seems only fitting that we give them the RSR Edition treatment. This means heading over to Spa-Francorchamps and to our brand new RSR Spa facility, where our head mechanic Thomas explains everything you need to know about this new build series.
Hello and welcome to the RSR Nürburg YouTube channel. You might have noticed our RSR Edition Golf here in the background. If you're following our YouTube channel, you have seen the journey of this car becoming an RSR Edition car. If you haven't, make sure you watch all the episodes. But today we are not talking about this Golf. We want to do something different. Last year we did a front-wheel drive car, and this year we want to do a rear-wheel drive car. And for this we have chosen our BMW M2, which has already proven its track value multiple times. We like this car so much that we even bought 4 new M2 competition this year. And for this car, we have planned something really special. You see the big bunch of car parts here in the background. We have again selected some of the finest aftermarket car parts manufacturers in the world. We have BBS rims, we have Michelin tires, KW suspension, but we're also going to work on the engine. For this, we have a full Akrapovic exhaust system, and we have new on board CSF, an oil cooler, intercooler and radiator manufacturer from the US. They're going to help us to cool down our BMW M2. But before the fun part starts, and this is enjoying the car on track and see the performance, we have to get the car on the lift and take it in pieces. We have just removed the original suspension from our BMW M2. The good thing on modern cars or newer cars is that you don't have to fight with rusted or stuck bolts, but also the removal procedure is more or less straightforward. In the rear, for example, it's just 4 or 5 bolts, and it takes per side around 5 to 10 minutes to remove the shock and the spring. In the front, it's a bit more work. You have to take the brake caliper and the disc off, remove the shock together with the hub, remove the suspension arms and lose the screws on the top mount, but then also you have the suspension in your hand, so it's a quite easy job. But now there is no suspension anymore in the car. That means we have to get something new. And this is in the box underneath me. It's a brand new KW Club Sport coilover. If you were following last year our RSR Edition Golf build, you have seen that we have visited the KW factory and we saw the manufacturing process of a KW Club Sport coilover. But now it's time to open the box and see what's inside. Unboxing new car parts. Always very exciting. But also the suspensions from KW. The boxing is very well done, so nothing can happen on the transport. So we have this, the outside cardboard, then you have it again fixed together with another layer of cardboard. And then we have seen this in the factory. It's like liquid and becomes hard like foam when they put it inside. So they have like a bag, they fill it with something. And then it actually gets the form of everything what's in this box. So everything is safe and there is no movement at all. But now let's see what's inside. What is this? This looks like the rear springs. Yes, these are the springs for the rear. Main spring with helper spring. This is another rear spring. Then we have more foam. So what is this? These are the shocks for the rear. Yeah. These are the dampers for the rear with the external reservoir. Another rear shock. Oh, shiny new car parts. This is the front suspension, complete, already mounted complete together. This is actually a three-way suspension. That means we can adjust rebound and low and high speed bump, which is really good when you use it on a racetrack, because you have the long corners where you have the low speed bump, and then when you have in this corner like some bumps in the road, the suspension has to work quite quick, and this you can adjust with the high speed bump. So you can actually fine tune it. That gives us a bigger range of adjustability. Then the other cool thing on this suspension is it has an external reservoir, so that means there is in total more fluid inside. If you go with your car on track, so the suspension is working a lot. There's a lot of compressions, the car is moving, and the fluid in the suspension is going through the small valves, so it gets heated up. And if you have more fluid inside, that means actually everything stays more cool, and that makes the suspension work better if the fluid stays on a cooler temperature. Additional, of course, we can adjust the height and we can do the corner weights, and we have an adjustable top mount. So we can adjust the camber in the front. On the top mount, I think this gives us a range between, let's say, 1 and 3.5 degrees of camber. In the rear, we don't have this higher range of adjustability because we have just eccentric screws. But for what we will do, I think this will be enough. Otherwise, we have to go for camber arms to have a bigger range of adjustability. But yeah, basically this is it. Now we're gonna install it in the car. Since we have everything apart, we're going to install also a brand new brake disc. This we do because we're installing a brand new set of Winmax brake pads and we want to have everything fresh. But now we're starting with this heat shield. So the front is done, now we move on with the rear. It looks a bit different, but basically it's the same. It's the shock with the external reservoir and high low speed bump and rebound on the top. And the spring, helper spring, main spring, height adjustment. Installation process should be quite simple, it's about 5 bolts and shouldn't take longer than 10 minutes. So let's take it and install it in the car. Now we do the base setup. Everything is written in the manual, so we will just follow the procedure as a base setup and then we'll fine tune it. As we said before, there is the adjustable top mount in the front, so this gives us a big range of adjustability. In the rear we don't have this, we just have the original eccentric bolt. We have to see later when we do the wheel alignment if this range of adjustability is high enough or we have to change it to camber arms. But this we will see when we do the alignment on the final setup. With the base setup done, there is still something missing to get the car back on the ground, and these are the wheels. You might know that we are partnered with BBS already since a couple of years, and we were always curious to see how these wheels are being made. And when we got the opportunity to visit the BBS factory, of course we took it. And this is what you're gonna see next episode. And if you have any questions about what we did this episode, just comment below, and don't forget to follow our YouTube channel. See you next time.